Y'all hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yep. Oh, my fault. You was probably playing the intro.
It's all good. We are officially live. What's going on, everybody? This is Ronjae Jones. I am the commissioner for the NBA Flunkies. We are back at it with a switch up today. We've got a what do you call it when a TV show, like when two TV shows, we got a crossover today where we got
crossover. That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, or That's So Sweet Life of That's So Right.
There you go. And so we've got our NBA Flunkies podcast mixed in here with our 2K simulation. And so basically this is gonna look a little different. We're in uncharted territory, but just thank you all for being here. Got a couple guests here. We got some regulars here with us today. We got Keshawn Simpson here of the Brandywine Hospital Morgue.
Just an announcement to the fans of my team. We will be going back to the Alpha Land Knicks very soon. We're starting to turn around the health protocol, so we're getting back to the original name.
Basically, all of his dead teammates decided to come back to life and take the vaccine and everything. So, up next, we got Sizwe Chapman here of the Valley Boys.
Valley Boys.
Good for you to be back. And I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it. Just
my homeboy Tyler, he playing South Beach. He told me this summer he gon' fix my jumper. I told Boy Wonder that we might got a thumper. I've been trying to pop, now I'm on like Shumper.
That was very timely because I was nervous that he wouldn't play tonight, but Tyler Hero literally just got the notification that he'll be playing tonight, so I'm happy.
Oh, so perfect timing. Okay, so he is playing.
Timing. And we welcome back one James Butler as well to the Miami Heat.
Oh, we got Jimmy James Butler. I wonder if he didn't like that nickname. I don't know if he liked that nickname a whole lot or not.
James?
Yeah.
Yeah, he prefers G.
Oh, well.
The G stands for gets.
Yep.
The G stands for gets. Hey, look, man, look. He gets those when he can. If it's not from the 3-point line, of course.
He known to hit a couple, but he ain't gonna pour it in on you. But
he'll hit like one,
maybe two,
if you're lucky. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't hold my breath for him. Like I would be expecting him, all right, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 23 points, 7 and 7, something close to what, LeBron does, to some former faction. But we've got some things to talk about here today. So, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to be engaged in the conversation while I'm taking my good old time trying to update all these teams, which feels as though we're making daily roster changes. So without further ado, the first topic of today, most disappointing flunkies so far. And I'm just going to go ahead and play this right now, bro.
Come on now, dog. Come on,
it's
man.
Week 5. It's week 5.
I mean,
so look, I was going to put it out to because we all know how glaring his roster moves have been. But Tim Halliger has disappointed the entire league. Past 2 years, Tim has been regarded as Thanos, and it seems with a bigger pool of people playing, Tim can't last in an 18-team league.
RJ, if you don't mind, you might turn down the 2K music.
Yeah, I got you.
So, so Sizwe, I think it's glaringly obvious that it seems that Tim lives off of quality players, and when it comes to looking for those sleepers, not everybody's eye is as good as it is. It takes some time. It takes some talent to notice. Because Josh Jackson overstayed his welcome, as we know.
Yeah, I guess like staying on the course for like Tim's team. My disappointing team is Javon, but I just kind of want to touch base on Tim. What Keshawn said, Yeah, I guess like we're not used to seeing this from Tim. If we're keeping a stat with you, we're not used to seeing his team this down bad. We know he's an accident waiting to happen. We know that information. We knew it was going to come sooner or later. But just how his team's constructed, he is not like he didn't give himself a good chance to do anything for real. And what makes it worse is that he actually had a solid team that he traded away, which is the accident waiting to happen part. Just happened extremely early.
And I'd like to thank Tim for giving up on Jeremy Lamb very early, too, who sat in free agency and now is a big benefactor to my team right now. Lamb's played really well coming back off of that ACL injury.
Yeah, but my most disappointing flunky right now is Javon of Mo Bob and Slim, whatever, Slim Pickens. How about no Mo Bob and no wins, all of that, because I don't think he's winning no more this season. That's my take. I think his wins are over. I think he's going to end the season 1-15. He committed flunkies. He committed flunky crimes, bruh, to himself that put his team so far down that it's you can't save him, bruh. Not only did he trade his top 2 picks away, his top 3 picks away. Now, he drafted Russell Westbrook was his first pick.
Now, Sizwe,
what are you supposed to do with that?
Here's what I ask you though. With seeing how Javon's team is in disarray, seeing how Tim's team, who does still have some star power, at this point in time, having Trae Young, Pascal Siakam, you got Terry Rozier in there as well. Mm-hmm. Technically, to me personally, because I don't think Tim would be willing to start and kind of gutter his team and break down Trae Young. Personally, I think he would like to go 1-for-1 for Trae Young and just get someone to hold up compared to break him down. I think Javon would be willing to break down Russ. Who do you feel is a pair of players that Javon could break down Russell Westbrook for?
I know he's been shopping him. I've heard Tatum. I know Devin's a huge fan of Tatum. He's been in my DMs about Blake and John Wall for Russell Westbrook. I swiftly said no. He would have to go. He would have to bite that bullet of not getting a top 10 player. You're just not going to get that value unless it's somebody who's a really big fan of Russell Westbrook. The best you could probably do for Westbrook is like a package I got for Devin Booker, which is Tyler Hero and Serge Ibaka. He's gonna have to go that way. Maybe trying to get him off him for like Kobe White. Maybe like a younger point guard with more potential. Maybe try to flip him for Ja, something like that. But the market is not really high for Russell Westbrook only because he has so many injuries. Back-to-back games he doesn't play. The Wizards are terrible. And it's just a bad pick, and it's really like one of them Alcatraz players. Like, bro, you only way like you're not going nowhere unless you're able to get rid of him and put someone around Gobert that can really help shore up some of those points.
So personally, now I heard what you said, but Russell Westbrook came back, the other night and had an 80 fantasy point night, which is real good. It is a little bit below his average just by like a marginal standard, like nothing like substantial. I still think that Russell Westbrook holds, he's got the name, so the name holds weight. So that I personally think that's on Javon's side. You do have a name that's available, and personally, right now, if I'm Javon, I'm keeping an eye out and I'm praying Russell Westbrook A, plays exceptionally well, and B, starts to it can just keep healthy. Maybe see if Russ is can talk to his coach or whoever the hell he needs to about possibly playing a back-to-back. You got to show some sort of consistency and give something, because at this point in time, Russell Westbrook he's got to become available. Like, availability is the best thing for him right now. And personally, So you mentioned Javon said Blake Griffin and John Wall for Russ. Now, personally, I think that's a great trade. The only reason I think that is because of the fact that Blake Griffin's play, as of recently, aside from the other night of what we saw, Blake has been either missing or he hasn't been really
he's been very meager. I ain't gonna lie, but also it's just like, would I rather take meager Blake and the productive John Wall over really, 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 really risky what Russell Westbrook in his career? Is like, that's really like you just saying, all right, I'm throwing something at the wall. Let me hope this thing. Let me hope Russell Westbrook can stay healthy. Let me hope he finds his rhythm. Also, I'm taking the risk like, let me hope Blake Griffin turns it around, and let me hope John Wall and Oladipo and Wood mesh and they're able to share the ball. So, when we play fantasy, it's all about, you can look at the numbers as much as you want to, but at the end of the day, it's like, there's some X factors where you just kind of like, man, I'm going to just have to see what happens with this one.
Hypothetical trade right now, 2 for 1. Russell Westbrook is on his way out. He's the one. Oladipo and John Collins for Russell Westbrook. We see Collins is having a little bit of a tough time in Atlanta.
I don't even think that's even feasible right now with how high Chris values John Collins and Oladipo. Like I said, Russell Westbrook is.
Do you think that's a fair trade if Russell Westbrook is getting back to it, putting up good numbers? Do you think that is a fair trade for Russell Westbrook?
He rebounding, the assist, true, but we see how he's operating as his best player, bro. He's not contributing to no winning.
Okay.
To a fantasy team, like he ain't putting no W's in the column.
And I think
I just wouldn't do that.
If I could jump in here, I think I'm getting a slight echo here on this side. I wonder what that is. Oh, okay. Weird.
What happened?
Nothing. I was getting a slight echo, but now it's gone. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Whatever. I was gonna say, well, it's possible that he could be traded to a team that he doesn't have to be the number one player. So, like, if he were to trade him to you, he has to be that number one kind of guy for you.
Yeah.
Which when you gave up Brandon Ingram as of recently, that made Jaylen Brown your number one. So right now, it quote unquote would make Russ your number one, Jaylen Brown be your 1A, I would say, at that point in time. I mean, that trade overall might not completely benefit you just due to the fact that your depth isn't designed to handle Russell Westbrook being the leading role.
Exactly.
Yeah, so honestly, he would have to go to someone like Malik.
Maybe a Malik.
I
would say
that's why I said Devin might be a good place to look. But I don't know if we're there at that part where we say, how do we rebuild these losing teams? But I want to hear what RJ got to say about
we're gonna get to that.
His most disappointing flunky is.
Yeah, we're for sure gonna get to that. Yeah, it's all good. We're gonna get to that. Honestly, that primary question is a tough one. I mean, look, any team that loses 5 games at this point in the season, you're on that list. So, like, but Javon's Javon is different because he's purposefully basically kept his team out of competition by trading all his pieces. Like, that's I don't know. You just don't do that, I guess is what I'm confused is not the word. Perplexed. Irritated might be a good way to describe it. It just was like, okay. So to me, he's in that discussion.
Who you got?
I mean, me personally, it's probably Tim. I just think that he drafted a really solid, amazing team. But, all right, you lose 2 games and think you got to, really start trading things away. But it's like, nah, you don't have to because, honestly, to be honest with his team, he was trading away pieces, in my opinion, even when he didn't. Because he had Oladipo, right?
Yep.
Did he have?
Or the trade.
And I'm wondering if he had Kyle Lowry as well.
No, that belonged to Devin, and Devin gave up Lowry for Drew Holiday. So that's how Chris ended up.
Oh, that's how
Kyle
Chris
Lowry.
got him. Okay.
Tim had
He traded Ayton and Oladipo.
Oladipo, and one more player. I forget who it was, but he got in return Malik Beasley, Terry Rozier,
Was it-
and
Oh, he traded Rozier, and he got Beasley.
Rozier, and one other player. I don't know who.
I think he traded Lou Will. That was the other person Tim traded.
I'll look at it.
Honestly, I just thought that was a bad trade. I scratched my head also on the Bam trade. I forget who did he trade Bam for?
He traded Bam for DeAndre Ayton, I believe.
And then he ended up trading DeAndre Ayton away again.
Yes.
Or not again, but in another trade. Wow.
The original trade was Chris trading
He was moving them boys.
Terry Rozier, Malik Beasley, and Jonas Valanciunas for Lou Williams, DeAndre Ayton, and Victor Oladipo. Now, Lou Williams has been atrocious so far. So getting Valanciunas essentially across for Lou Williams is a win for Tim. Malik Beasley has played rather solid in that crowded 2-guard spot in Minnesota. But he's standing out as the primary guy. Terry Rozier is still doing what Terry Rozier does in Charlotte. So I guess you can say Tim is benefited from those players. Valanciunas is still out right now due to COVID protocol. But Chris got away with some big fishes.
Yeah, I just thought it was too early to make those kind of trades, and you losing 5 games, But this is what I'll say about Tim's team is it looks like his team is kind of starting to turn things around. Like he might
battling with Durant. Is it Durant?
Yeah.
Durant.
So I gotta give the benefit of the doubt that his team might be turning the corner, but I don't know. This might be a one-off kind of thing where it's like, okay, you score a high number of points in 1 week, and then you'll go back to being meager the next time. But, hopefully his team protocol-wise stays healthy, and then injury-wise they stay healthy. But, I mean, as of that, I just thought it was too early to trade all those pieces. I could see him being, at least having a win in his column if he would have kept the team that he has now. But some people just don't have the long game vision in their system, and it's no disrespect. It just is what it is for the most part.
Whose team was named the long game at one point during last season?
Chris?
Oh,
I think.
There was nothing to be waiting for.
Off the top of my head, I think it was Chris. And for some reason, he's always in the most disappointing flunky conversation. Of which,
what about the middle tier teams? Is there anybody? What about these middle tier teams, bro? Where are we disappointed at, bro? Am I in this category? Is Keshawn here? Are you here? Let's be transparent. What's happening, bro?
I don't know if I'm in this.
I was in it. You can't put me in there now.
Oh yeah, you made some.
Come on now. Come on now. Come on. I told Aaron this, bro.
You about to get all the smoke and take so many punches. The fans yelling, "Get off the ropes!"
Yeah, it's been a whole week, so I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna have to talk the stuff, man. Look, my team.
Explain to people what happened last week, bro.
Oh boy, let me tell you what happened, man. Hey, look, my team pulled off, as far as I'm concerned, is the upset of the year. So my team. I think like 3 out of the 7 nights had scored like 700 points.
which is a rarity.
That's a rarity. I scored 600 points on Friday. I had 100 points on Thursday. I scored 700 on Wednesday. I scored 0 on Tuesday because no one played. So it actually might have only been one night that I scored 700, but I had some really high nights, like going into Sunday. Like that Friday helped me out immaculately. I mean, look, I had Clint Capella. This is Clint Capella when he was like going like insane. Like he had like 300 or 400 point nights. He scored 409 points that week. Steph Curry had a really solid week, had 355. And shout out my man DeMarcus Cousins, man. Stepping up for when Christian Wood was out, man. Shout out to Sizwe as well for trading him for Paul Millsap, man. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you.
All that applause for Boogie Cousins, but doesn't he have a new home right now?
He does have a new home. So a lot of things happened within these past.
That week was busy for you, Bucko.
Yeah,
because you traded Jaylen Brown that week too.
So but honestly, I made a lot of mistakes. So it's like I should have lost that week. So the first week started on Monday when Jalen Brunson was slated to come back, but he wasn't in my starting lineup. He scored 40 fantasy points that day. So that was 40 points that I was missing out on. The next thing that happened was that I traded to Sizwe, Jaylen Brown for Brandon Ingram. So I got Brandon Ingram back, of which I should have waited 24 hours to make that deal because it wouldn't have made a difference, and it probably would have been even more in my favor to make that trade happen after the game where he dropped like 130 something fantasy points. So technically I was like close to 200 points in the gutter. But clearly to my team, it didn't matter. Clint Capella, Steph Curry, DeMarcus Cousins, Evan Fournier came back, kept my boy who I drafted, Jeff Green. Shout out to him, who is, he's playing solid right now. He had like 200 and something odd points, and then Devin Booker went out. So I didn't even get him on like Saturday or Sunday because he went out with a hamstring injury, which he's still dealing with right now. So it was a lot of things that happened. Now, granted, Aaron had a lot of game cancellations.
Some things did not break in
he had some
good
things.
Aaron's favor.
Yeah, Sabonis, obviously it went down and didn't play. Like, that would have made a huge difference because, like, at the half, he had, like, 39 fantasy points by that point. So he didn't come back in the second half, so that was huge. And then Julius Randle was held up, and I also made a trade of who did I trade him for? I traded also once I got Brandon Ingram, I talked to Jake, who is also known as Grown Thugger Hugger. Grown Hugs and Larceny. Shout out to him. He traded me Anthony Davis for Brandon Ingram and LaMelo Ball. So I gave him a 2-for-1, of which apparently seems to be taboo around here, is making fair trades, whether if it's a 1-for-1, a 2-for-2, a 2-for-1. Like, so he was interested in the trade. We actually had a much bigger. So this is what most people don't know is we had like a huge trade blockbuster that was fitting to happen. So at first, this man wanted.
There's been a couple of blockbusters,
Who did he want? He wanted Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, and it might have been Evan Fournier for Anthony Davis, DeJounte Murray, who was dealing with an ankle injury for a game, and Derrick Jones Jr., who just went out with like a foot injury or something like that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I could probably say I dodged a slight bullet, but I just felt as though that package was too big, but I really wanted Anthony Davis and DeJounte Murray.
But me too.
Yeah, I couldn't come to a solid agreement that I would have been able to let go of those three solid players to get those two. So I just told him, look, let's just keep this to the bare bones. I'll give you what you want. Brandon Ingram and LaMelo, no problem. Give me AD. AD had 100 and something odd points that day, and pushed me over and
Gave you the win.
fortunately he gave me the win. But Jalen Brunson, 146 fantasy points. David Nwaba, 175. Devin Booker, even though he went out on Sunday, he had 199 fantasy points. So, a very tough team to beat when they're putting up points like this. And like Aaron's squad had like 4 or 5 people put up 200 plus points. So it was for sure a close game. And the cool thing about this game was not just the win or the upset. But, as many of y'all know, we just celebrated the anniversary of, Kobe Bryant's passing and the 7 or 8 other lives who were lost in that tragic helicopter accident. A couple days before that, we had celebrated Kobe Bryant's 81-point game against the Toronto Raptors, a.k.a. Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose.
I won by 81 points. So that was like the ultimate.
Ooh.
That was the ultimate tribute. Yeah, that was the ultimate
know
Kobe.
that.
Yeah, I won by about 81 points.
Hey, that's kind of tough.
Yeah, yep, 81 points. So that was my tribute to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, love you, man. You're
Heavily missed, man.
yeah.
Shout out to 24, and I just want to say with like the flunkies, bruh, and just like the wins like these, bruh, sometimes it just be straight bragging, right? Some people you just want to beat. Like this week, bruh, if I beat Malik, bruh, I don't really care what happens against Aaron, because Malik been talking to me the craziest. So it's stuff like that. Like rivalry, you carry weight here. Some games are more important than others. Yeah, that's just what it is, bro.
Yeah, there's for sure a lot of games where you circle your calendar for.
For sure.
I think I've had most of mine. Obviously, the Aaron, Sizwe was on my list, so I didn't beat both of them. So my cup is runneth over, for the most part, because I never really expect to win all of those games, especially how things were looking during the season. But yeah, so that 81-point game, tribute to Kobe was for sure a highlight of my time. Too busy catching up on that what happened last week. So, with that being said, I think for me it's still gonna go down as Tim, aka Spice times Ice, Spice plus Ice times
Ice
2
and
Cool
Ice.
Crew. Yeah, Spice and Ice. I don't really know how to say that, so.
Hey, last time I
Spice
remember,
and ice.
Something cold and something spicy ain't ever mixed together. So we might.
Hey, look, you might be right. It might not be a good mix.
Hey, bro, you might be having too many different sensations going on there, bro.
Yeah, we all know the Halligers, man. They love mixing stuff that don't go together.
Glory mix. This is the real Flunkies podcast, because I know our next topic is most disappointing players. Jesus.
Yeah. Let's get into that. Let's.
You got
So
Aaron
is
Baines on that
this
list?
most disappointing players Flunkies wise or NBA like in general wise? What's up?
So these are. So I would say, probably. Mainly for us, it's gonna be the Flunkies, of course. But first, let's do the NBA, because I am kind of curious to hear your opinions on, in terms of the NBA, like regardless of what the Flunkies do, who have been the most disappointing players that you've seen? Because I'm sure it'll probably translate, so we can have an open discussion about that.
Can I take the lead on this one?
Sure.
I want everybody to hear me when I say this. Without a doubt, the most disappointing player, or should I say players, are anyone not named Bradley Beal on the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
You got a guy out there putting up 47, 50, and even 60-point games, and you losing by double digits.
And be having Bradley Beal saying,
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Bradley Beal went on record to say that y'all couldn't guard a parked car
A parked car.
A parked car.
He said this.
Listen to me when I say this. You are trash.
Now, granted, Russell Westbrook has been gone. He was sidelined with, I think, a quadricep injury. So we could say Russell Westbrook could have definitely impacted this game, or a couple of those games for them. But I mean, even with Russ back, I think Brad had to put up 47 points.
Big Brad.
And seeing him have to literally backpack a team, like, no, they lost that game by, like, I think 18 points. And had Bradley Beal not scored 47 points, they wouldn't have cracked 70 points as a team.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah, honestly, it was a really bad, like, just an overall not a good look in general. I feel bad for his situation because it's like, I get the loyalty aspect, and he's one of those, at least from as far as I'm concerned, just one of those guys who really wants to win where he's at.
He's a classic player.
He's more of a classical player. I'm sure he'd love to play with some great talent, but he wants to do it, kind of like with Dame Lillard. He wants to do it in Portland, or he wants to do it in Washington. And it's like, look, their team has been in a serious just decline for years now. Like, let's, we can say what we want, before the John Wall injury and trade, of course. But, I could say, obviously, they've been getting swept by Bron for years, as far as I'm concerned.
Like, to this, they had higher expectations this season, though.
I mean, for sure. And honestly, I'd have loved to have seen Bradley Beal and John Wall together. That would have just been, man. Because, I love seeing that backcourt. That's a great backcourt to watch. Like, they're just so fun and entertaining. So I don't know what. And John Wall said it, if you guys remember, there was an article that came out in press conference where he felt as though the Washington Wizards had given up on him. And I'm like, look, man, how is it? And I guess this is why I'm so disappointed in the Washington Wizards, just not only as like a team, but just as an organization. How is it that you can say that you're going to just give up on the John Wall, to his words, but then go get a guy who said in the playoffs he felt like he was just out there running around?
It's not a good look.
What sense does that make? We've all seen. Russell Westbrook. He's not my favorite player. I'm not even gonna lie. He's not. He don't mean much to me, right now. I really don't care for him because clearly, much like James Harden, they do what they can to keep their teams alive. I can respect that.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that you're not really adding anything to getting your teammates to be in a better spot when it's time for them to perform. To me. And also, Russell Westbrook was getting outplayed by Ricky Rubio in the playoffs. So, I really don't have too much rep for him. Like, oh yeah. So, in my opinion, he's probably up there. He can't stay healthy for anything. It's always something with his knee or his quad. And, he's getting older. I just don't agree. And I'm saying he's up there because I just don't agree with the fact that the Washington Wizards traded John Wall for Russell Westbrook. So I would have loved to have seen them another season at least, and then you can trade John Wall at the halfway point.
The Wizards traded John Wall because James Harden wanted Westbrook out.
And that's sad to say because, like,
and they ended up trading him. That's the crazy part, is they ended up trading James Harden anyway.
I wonder what kind of package they would have got for Russ and Harden if they would have waited. Or what kind of crazy 3-team deal would have happened if Russ would started the season with the Rockets?
It would have been interesting because I think Russ's value would have been at a higher point at that point in time. And if you're Houston right now, you're missing a couple bench pieces right now because I love what they're doing out there in Houston. The addition of Victor Oladipo to pair with John Wall, I can tell Oladipo and John Wall get along fine. I think Wall, especially a dude who's been out for 2 years and is looking to, you know, reassert his dominance and let people remember who he is. Wall is loving to play with a dude who's as hungry as Oladipo. Like Oladipo wants to win, and when you're seeing,
he feels the same way as John Wall.
yeah,
You know, look, that is a
dangerous backcourt.
That's an ultimate redemption team. That Houston Rockets squad, they're like just everybody's been looked over, slept on, walked over, trampled over. Like they're
I
just
call them the Houston Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hey, nothing's more dangerous with a man that has nothing to lose and everything to gain.
They have a bunch of those.
They're just gonna
but
go out there.
Who's got somebody who has a lot but just keep losing? My pick for the most disappointing player right now is Mr. Beyblade.
Pascal Siakam.
Bro, what happened, bro?
You said Mr. Beyblade. Oh my
Hey, bro,
goodness.
come on now, dog. Come on, man.
No lie, the Toronto Raptors have been. Listen.
Abysmal.
Yeah, look, I understand they won the championship 2 years ago. You lost Kawhi Leonard last season to the Clippers as he went home. You played pretty well last season. I don't know what is going on. Maybe y'all are allergic to giving Fred VanVleet that much money and something like that. And maybe Pascal was like, well, I ain't going to play well if Fred getting all this bread. Because
what he just hasn't looked like the Pascal Siakam we saw in the championship or early last season when he was an all-star starter. It's just kind of like, it's kind of weird to see. And I've read a lot of things. It's like, I think people just figured him out. Like, yo, he has his go-to move is a spin move in the paint. Like, we know on the Pro-Am how that works. You get that strip just like you would get that strip to real life. It's like he's not really a offensive threat
out of
to
curiosity,
where you would think he would be after an all-star season. He hasn't really developed a consistent pull-up jump shot post game. And, you know, he as a slasher, he's just kind of been
abysmal.
He's kind of been tough, and so have the Raptors.
I'll say this. So, as I stated with the Raptors winning the chip 2 years ago, Pascal Siakam was like the second option. Maybe if you want to regard Kyle Lowry in there, you could associate Siakam as the number 3 option. I'm just looking at scoring wise. I guess Siakam was number 2 at that point in time. You're seeing as Kawhi left last year, Siakam did rather well, holding up his weight as being the number 1 option, quote unquote, on that team. But you look at him right now, and it's like, is this something that you could say, hey, on not a championship team, but on a team, is Pascal Siakam a number 1 option? Because if we're seeing this kind of decline from Siakam,
which is a decline.
is Siakam considered an overrated number 1 option and just a solid number 2?
I think he's showing that he's more of a second option right now.
Yeah, he's just struggling right now, and then I think he's had some knee problems or whatnot.
You know, because he's trying to be a ballerina instead of a basketball player, by how much he spins.
Yeah, he's just got to do something, and I agree with you. I just think it's just the idea that they figured him out. Let me see. There was another player that I was gonna, because I know this has been, I don't know, just very interesting to say the least. But that actually, I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I mean, that's probably,
people really been turning up this season, low key.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie.
I think it's going to be I think it's a lot easier to talk about who's doing better than who's doing bad, in my opinion. Like, when we look at bad, we're just looking at stars.
You know what? Let me say this. Let me say this, because
RJ, I don't want to hear nothing about the Warriors and about Oubre or Blake. Valley Boys off limit.
Oubre has been doinking. We've known that for weeks. So it is disappointing, but that's not who I was gonna say.
Oh,
you about to bring up my man's?
Huh?
You about to bring up the guy of the hour that they've been talking bad on.
No, I'm not bringing him up because that's ridiculous. They're the best team in the NBA right now. Look, Devin Booker, disappointing right now.
Flunky wise or NBA wise?
Both. Man averaged 27 points per game last year. About. He's down to 22.
I'm with you on that, bro. He had a little bit higher expectations for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, you drafted him first round, so like,
first pick.
You know, I was expecting him to make the scoring wise to make that bigger jump. Now, granted, I say this with hesitation because they've put together a really good, a solid team around him. So it's like he doesn't have to do so much anymore, which should take some weight off of his body a bit. But hopefully,
yeah, because he has been carrying Phoenix since he was 19.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 years. So the hope is that they'll make it into the playoffs because I don't know what Devin Booker is going to do if they don't make the playoffs this year. I mean, look, I could say something as far as like, he's on his way out. There's nothing else. There's nothing else that you could do with the Phoenix Suns right now if you don't make the playoffs. That's just my opinion. You can thug it out if you want, which is fine because you're still gonna have, for the most part, hopefully the same team. But it's like, okay, you got an aging Chris Paul. You didn't make the playoffs this year. What are we doing? To me, that's just the big thing. So, but I'm gonna throw him up there, not only in the NBA but also in fantasy, and we can kind of switch a gear to saying fantasy wise, who do you think has been the most disappointing players? Because I assume that a lot of those things are gonna kind of like, switch, not switch, but they'll be, a little bit more mutually exclusive.
This gentleman is on my team right now, and I received him via trade. But LaMarcus Aldridge, I don't know what is going on. Listen, I'll say this.
LA.
I didn't expect a decline from Aldridge that much, but I will sit here and I will. I think I will bring this up. As far as I remember, Aldridge did not play in the bubble when the Spurs were there, and I think personally Aldridge got lazy. He did not play basketball for a period of time, and I think that he got rusty. I think he needs to start getting into the swing of things. He needs to start getting a lot more aggressive, because he's been abysmal. Like, he's a guy who was averaging, I think, 18 points last season. You've dropped down 4 points, and you're struggling to even get 6 rebounds. That's not going to do it, especially for a Spurs team who has a lot of young guys starting to emerge. The Keldon Johnsons, the Lonnie Walkers, and DeJounte Murray once again stepping up as he does basically every year, improving something.
Speaking of DeJounte Murray, bro, he done went off. Like, last season, I don't know if it was because he was coming off an injury, but he was not the same player. Like, he was a player I would keep on my fantasy team, but last season, he let me down. This season, with Derek White being out, bro, he done shown that, there's a reason LeBron was so high on him and been so high on him all these years.
I think that Pop sees a leader in Murray. I think Murray is a great leader. He's obviously a guard who, he's a very desirable guard in my opinion. He's one of those guys who does absolutely everything. So regardless of how old he ends up getting or whatever, coaches love a guy who can do anything on the court. And you'll always find yourself a roster spot. Murray's been shooting the ball a little bit more, still attacking, playing great defense. So to me, LaMarcus Aldridge has been disappointing fantasy-wise. Trying to think, like, who else do we have? I mean, because I'd like to tackle the guys who you would just be like glaringly like, hey, yo, like, what's really good? I mean, Pascal Siakam.
Spicy P has got to be up there. I mean, he
might be number one.
Trash, like crazy, like Garbaggio, like, oh my goodness. Now, Trae Young started out really slow, to my knowledge. He did start out like really slow, but I think he's really starting to put things together now. So that should be exciting to look at. I mean, moving forward. I mean, let me see if I can pull up some of last year's stats here. because I mean, obviously, you know,
Let me add
I mean,
this.
Anthony Davis, in my opinion, probably would be up there, arguably with maybe taking a step back. I just think they have a much better team this year, the Lakers do, than what they had last year. And,
3 names I can rattle off right now.
13-point difference, so.
Blake Griffin, Kendrick Nunn, and Lou Williams.
Yeah, Lou Williams
Lou
is falling off a
Williams.
cliff. I can't say much about Kendrick Nunn because I'm not expecting much from him. But Lou Williams has fallen off a cliff somewhere. He went from averaging, 50, 60 fantasy points?
He's at the bottom of 30s.
Yeah, he's pretty close to being down there. So I don't know what's going on with him. I know he was wrestling with some injuries here and there, some injury bugs. But, I mean, dude has just...
Dud.
It's just like, yeah, I'm just going to take a break right here on the ground or something. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's usually disappointing. He's always been so reliable off the bench. Just as reliable.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising.
Hugely surprising. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, you
You're
can't
doing
really
this?
predict that, bro, because Lou Will, once again, is a very valuable piece off the bench. And normally, fantasy-wise, he's someone who you can sit there and hold of good value. But yeah, he's been awful. Yeah, I can't even tell you if I've seen Lou Will get over 50 fantasy points once this season.
I would get him on my team for the Lolo.
Yeah, yo,
That's it.
No lie, Lou Will to me, I would gamble and take him just for the low. I'm not paying for that name right now. I'm not paying name brand price right now. He's not doing anything or showing you anything.
Nah, he definitely Ross is right now.
So, do you put Luke Kennard? You had him originally on your team. Do you put Luke Kennard as a disappointment, or do you believe it's a
Huge disappointment. Oh my gosh. He was, they paid that man $50 million to get up there and just start doinking stuff around. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? So I don't know what's going on with him, but he came into the season and was just doinking everything up. I'm saying that because I drafted him. Felt like I could stick it out for about 4 or 5 weeks. Showed me absolutely nothing. Such a disappointment. I'm a little sad about it. 'Cause I think he was starting to come around a little bit lately, but for sure he is up there, and I was not happy about that. With that being said, we've had some close games this week, man. I'm gonna go through and we're gonna talk about some of these matchups that have happened so far this week, just this week by itself. The first one I'm gonna start with. Well, that game wasn't close, but this game is close here, and this is really interesting. Aaron versus Jake. So Aaron is in the lead by 96 points.
Yeah.
By 96 points, so it's under 100 points. Most these guys Jake has like most of his good players playing today. I'm so surprised at how close this game is. Absolutely. So between Jake and Aaron.
Oh yeah,
This
Whoa.
is close. This is very close. To me, when I look at matchups like this, I gotta check the schedule, and you really got to see where the heavy hitters are. And I hate to say it, I'd love to see Jake win this matchup, but I think if Jake can't close this out tonight, which I don't see possible, he's gonna need a lot of duds happening for Aaron's team. Like he's gonna need Dragic to be trash, Barnes to be trash, Josh Hart to be trash, and Kuzma to be trash. Kyle Anderson hopefully to be trash, who's been rather well, and Duncan's gonna need to brick almost everything in sight. Because tomorrow, Aaron has Fred VanVleet, Aaron Gordon, Domantas Sabonis, and Julius Randle. And Jake has got Kevin Durant, Larry Nance Jr., Justin Holiday, Dwight Howard, Shake Milton, and Timofey Luwawu-Cabarrot. So, to me, it'd be a miracle to pull this off. You got to come out tonight swinging.
Jake not having KD last night hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like I said, the fact that he is competing with Aaron
Scary.
and has an outside chance tonight, because tonight he has his heavy hitters playing in terms of Ingram, Jamal Murray, Lonzo Ball. LaMelo Ball, my bad, and Wiseman. He has a chance to take a lead, which will make Sunday very interesting.
I would keep an eye out for Halliburton. Halliburton has been known to be sometimes he'll be a guy who can creep up on you.
He's definitely one of those players.
Halliburton is unorthodox. One day he might give you 40. The next day, you never know. If he's playing well, you can see 70 fantasy points next to his name.
No cap.
Yeah, look, this is going to be a very interesting game. I would hope I would hope to see like Aaron handle business and be like, all right, we're going to put all this to rest. I'm still one of the top teams here. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and wrap this up.
And which is crazy. We didn't have, because we didn't even have this as one of the all-star. I mean, as one of the matchups of the week.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not even slightly. I thought this was just going to be a blowout. I'm going to say this, and I'm not sure if it's possible that this man can win or not. Devin has a very slim outsider's chance of winning.
Beating up on Chris?
Yo, Chris is beating on him something crazy, bruh.
So you say you say he still has a chance?
Outsider's chance. Depends on...
You need a miracle.
It depends on what Kawhi and Tatum do. Because Tatum plays tonight, but Kawhi plays tomorrow. Oh, Chris has James Harden. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, it's over for him. Yeah, I would go ahead and say, yeah, that's wrapped. That's wrapped. Sam
Hood of the NBA Youngboy Stands, formerly known as Playboy Cardi Stands, is in him and Keshawn, otherwise known as Brandywine Hospital Morgue. They're in a dogfight right now. It's about 106 point difference right now, but obviously it was much closer when the night started. So you're gonna need Dame to doink tonight, and
Jimmy Butler
they play Chicago
is back tonight, and he is not on minute restriction. So I am hoping for Butler to give me a good game tonight.
He ain't played in 3 weeks. How's he not on a minute restriction?
That's what it says. It says in the little blurb, Butler will play without a minutes restriction Saturday against the Kings.
Oh, working up to his conditioning. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So is he playing tonight?
Yeah, he's playing right now.
Okay.
So
yeah, Keshawn, you and Sam are a closer team than I thought it would be. Just in terms of competition wise, you guys probably both one of the more even teams down, like in terms of like each other. Like your teams match up very well.
Now I'll state
if healthy.
Yeah, I'll state this. So I had missed out on Brandon Clark this week due to the Grizzlies having a game postponed. And I also missed out on Larry Markkinen because the Bulls were postponed. And Jimmy Butler had yet to be back during this week. So I had missed them for a couple days now. As far as I know, Sam Hood's team has been healthy every single game this week.
Except for Karras.
Karras, who, we're throwing up prayers for you, man. Same for Cat, too.
No cap.
Guys is going through a lot. But I would love to know what this game would look like had I had those players, barring the postponement. But we can't predict it. We can only go based on what we got now.
Facts. I don't know what my prediction would be. Like I said, it's just Laurie Market has -4 fantasy points.
Yeah, he's starting off bad, man.
What's he doing out there?
I'm gonna have to figure it out, but I trust him. He's been a pretty solid contributor for my team so far this year.
I'm interested to see how this game plays out. I'm just excited because this week has a lot of close games. Even Cordell and Quan got a little bit of a fight going on.
A very humble
like I
fight.
said, I don't think Cordell has a chance.
No, I don't either.
But like I said, it's there.
It is there.
It's there somewhere. The fact that Javon is 200 and something odd points away is baffling to me. That is just so baffling. So, Sizwe, you're in a close fight with Malik, who has the 4-headed Hydra. Lord, what do you got to say about that matchup?
Bruh, praying only. Because y'all understand how this man's team is constituted. On the first 2 nights, the first night, Monday and Wednesday, because his players get the day off in between one of those days. That man put up 700 points with all 4 of his main players playing. That's LeBron, Luka, Drummond, and Vucevic. That's hard to stop. I don't know where I came in, and the fact that I have an outside chance of winning happened, but yeah, I don't know what there is to say other than timely points by timely players. I took the lead. Oubre folded on me one night where I was only down 4 and took that man 3
Boy,
quarters.
did he fold on you.
Heavy.
Bro, if he would have scored his averages, I would be in a better position right now. But yeah, really, my main goal is to just keep it close. Keep it close and just give me a chance on Sunday. That's what I've been telling myself all week. And really, that's what you got to do every week. Like, bro, I got to pick up who I got to pick up, because last thing you want to do is have a pack by day 2 of the week. You want to try to do your best to keep it close every single night. That's what my team been doing. I'm proud of the Valley boys, bro. They coming through. You know what I'm saying? Wayne Ellington, Daniel Gafford already got 10 points for me in the first 3 minutes. We going up, bro.
Yeah, look, man, that 4-headed beast is no walk in the park. And honestly, to your point, and I feel like we've all got to say it nowadays, because all the teams, in my opinion, for the most part, barring Javon's squad, is really competitive. Like, I think Cordell probably might have the worst schedule in terms of how his team is comprised. Like, their stuff is just always bad for some weird, odd reason. But, nonetheless, look, even Tim and Durant are in a slugfest right now.
Biggest surprise to me. Now, Durant didn't have Paul George.
Granted. And I think Tim might have had a couple people missing as well. So it's like, I'm not saying that's even, because it's not. But the fact that the game is close, it does show, like, okay, Tim might be on to something here with his roster and squad. But, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Terry Rozier's been playing really well, so that's really helped his team. Obviously, Malik Beasley has just gone absolutely crazy good. Honestly, I just think it's one of those we're really gonna have to just chill out, wait and see. For Tim's team, I just think it's probably a little bit too soon to tell what's happening with his team, because honestly, it is 5 games. It's 5 games. Like, we've got 11 left. But to the point that we've been trying to make is like, yo, you're 0-5. You're in a huge hole. You're in the biggest hole that I've ever seen anyone who has the hopes of making the playoffs, and not only making the playoffs, but competing in the playoffs. But not only competing, winning the title. you have the biggest odds right now of just getting into the playoffs. You can be competitive all you want, but from what we've been saying, no one cares about being competitive. If it doesn't mean that you're going to close out some of these games. Me being competitive with Aaron's squad wouldn't have meant anything if we didn't win that game. If we didn't beat Aaron, wouldn't have meant anything. So
just so that your team had a little heart. Oh
yeah,
well.
Okay, you got some heart. All right, your team's got some heart. We'll give you a hand clap or something like that. Good for you. Good for you. But if you're not going to win any games, then number one, you have a huge problem on your hands. Number two, it's the problem that only you can fix. So you got to get your stuff together. But hey, look, the first step, beating an undefeated team right now, of whom everyone is called like fool's gold, cookie cutter, undefeated, like, not real. Basically, you're not real undefeated. You get lucky, of which, like, I don't know any undefeated teams that haven't gotten lucky on some form or occasion. It's still worth, noting, but we all get some lucky breaks here and there. But nonetheless, that's a very close game of which I will be monitoring very closely. And I think those were all the games. Oh, and then Tucker and I are in a slugfest. Giannis already has 28 fantasy points in the first quarter. And then
Keshawn, that's your guy. You gonna get him, bro?
Hey, man.
What'd you say?
Listen, so one thing that has remained true, I'd love to have Giannis on my team, but
you ain't got the pieces for it.
Not only do I not have the pieces, I think fantasy-wise, I am better at competing without huge names on my team. I'd rather get some
right now
guys.
You are.
Yeah.
It's just, honestly, it's probably more so based on the drafting, how the draft went.
Yeah, based on the draft. So draft-wise, looking back, I could have drafted better in the late rounds.
Oh, man, look, I got some regrets on my list.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'd have never drafted. I'd have never drafted, bro.
Bo. I wish Bo was going to get minutes, but he's not getting them. They're not showing him love out there in Denver.
Honestly, I got this on my list here, but I'm not sure if I want to do this. Well, maybe you guys will have some answers to this. Who have been some key sleepers in our fantasy league? Like players that you've seen just, really just contributing to the success of a team.
Ellington.
Wrong.
Psych!
Let's list the real name.
Psych!
Let's list the real name. Chris Boucher.
Out of nowhere. He's been up and down lately, but he's been really solid.
Boucher has been great. I give a nod to Keldon Johnson. Who else? You said a sleeper?
Clarkson, 6th man of the year candidate.
Clarkson.
He's up there.
Clarkson's emerged. I didn't classify him as a sleeper. More or less, he's exceeding expectation.
That's real.
Shoot, I didn't know there were any expectations on him.
Me neither.
And to me, last year, because I had Clarkson was a solid 50. He's playing immensely better. I know no one's gonna like the fact that I have to say this, but dang it, Cole Anthony has been good.
All right. Anyways, but we also have another person named
Cole
Anthony, bro.
Cole Anthony has been good, bro.
Please.
He's been good.
But we're talking about sleepers.
Jeremy Grant.
He's been glaringly obvious, though.
Oh, you talking about sleepers? Oh, okay.
I mean, but he was high key. He went in the 5th round or something like that. 4th round.
Snap.
For what Jeremy Grant is doing, he is not only is he exceeding, but he fits that key sleeper.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting him to average. At a point he was averaging 90 fantasy points. I'm like, yo,
we wasn't expecting that. We was not expecting that.
I can't tell you anyone who was expecting that.
If he was to redraft now, he would go second round.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, second round. You could make an argument maybe for the first round.
Josh Hart.
Oh yeah, key sleeper. You talk about a solid contributor for Malik's already heavy squad.
Aaron's.
Like he is literally, Josh Hart is guiding that middle core of his team, bruh.
That's Aaron's team.
Facts.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait.
Yeah.
Malik had him. Malik had him. I'm sorry. Still, nonetheless, on a very solid top end team for Aaron's squad, he's still helping guide that middle roster for Aaron, and in some cases has really helped contribute to a lot of those wins Aaron was getting and is still getting. As far as I'm concerned, probably will continue to get.
I want to throw these names out here. 2 shooting guards. Keshawn Tate, for some reason, has been keeping a constant roster spot in the Flunkies.
He has.
And David, pains me to say this. It really pains me, but Chris's boyfriend's been putting on, bro.
Oh, Terrence Ross.
Terrence Ross.
Listen, bro.
If you look at his numbers, bro, he be holding it up, bro.
And I'm throwing this name in the hat, bro, because not many people gonna respect him. Yes, he be hurt, but damn it, Jeremy Lamb has been good since he came back.
I ain't seen enough for him to really say he's a key sleeper, though. Ain't seen enough from him, so I'm gonna take your word on that because obviously he's not on my team. Yeah, I don't know. He's just tough to really vouch for, in my opinion, at this point, because he's always injured. He always has a tendency of being injured in some form or fashion. He'll be out 6 months. I'm like, bro, what is wrong with you? You're injured more than Alex Smith, the Washington football team quarterback, was. Like, he injured something. It's always something. So, glad he's back. Glad he's playing well. Hope he can, get over that injury bug. But, if I'm looking at his history, I'm not sure how likely that is. Honestly, those are all some.
I want to say for the start of the season, I just want to let the people know how everybody was just confused how Nick Batum was killing people out here, and we thought the fantasy system was broken. He's not a sleeper anymore, but I just wanted to point that out.
Who was it?
Nicholas Batum.
Oh, Nick Batum. Yo, honestly, and let me say this as well. When the league first started, it was so many people going off for so many points. It was actually like, whoa,
Concerning.
What is going on here? Did I just?
It was concerning. Yeah, exactly.
It was like, yo, is this gonna be a consistent thing? I think the good part now, though, is that it seems like things are starting to taper off and going back to how things are probably supposed to be. Obviously where we expect a lot of certain players to be at. Obviously, your James Harden, your Bradley Beal, your Steph Curry, LeBron James, Nikola Vucevic, who's been surprising this year. For sure, he's been a sleeper. I'm not expecting him to get over 100 fantasy points a night. But he's been shooting that 3 ball, though, like a lot. So, he probably qualifies to be up there. But he's for sure a part of that Hydra team that Malik has over there cooking and making chicken in the back of his kitchen. But, your Luka Doncic's, your Giannis's, LeBron, all those KDs, all them guys, Embiid, they're all starting to get back to where they're supposed to be at. So,
I also think that part of the reason the scores look so drastic was maybe how our season ended. We haven't seen how the scores worked in so long, and just how the numbers looked in so long that things was kind of like, whoa, we're kind of back into this, and it seemed maybe it was going crazier than we expected it. In my opinion, maybe our eyes just wasn't accustomed to the changes from just being away for so long away from the Flunkies.
You know what? I could believe that for sure. I think that could that could easily be the case where I think Chris said earlier that he would probably sell Lou Williams for the low. So if any of y'all are listening to that, he's probably talking about Lou Williams. I just looked at the live chat.
So can I ask y'all two people that I have? Would you classify Tyrese Halliburton as a sleeper?
Nah, I don't really qualify rookies as sleepers as of now.
Would you classify Patty Mills as a sleeper?
Patty Mills been putting on, in my opinion. I feel like he's been putting on for a minute.
That's a who was the player again?
Halliburton, I asked, and Patty Mills.
No.
I would more so say Terry Rozier is a sleeper if you're talking about a Hornets player. Wait, did you talk about a Hornets player? No, you said a Kings player. I'm tweaking.
You said, yeah, Halliburton and Patty Mills. I'm not putting Patty Mills up there. He's just wishy-washy. Terry Rozier belongs up there. He's just wishy-washy. I would say Halliburton's the same because he's playing behind De'Aaron. They're both solid when they want to be. Patty Mills is probably adjacent. He's probably really close to that. Like,
I want to ask you guys this real quick. My fault for interrupting, but it just came to my mind. Is Kyrie a sleeper this year?
That's a good question. Is Kyrie a sleeper? I mean,
because
no.
how we was talking about him before the season was like, yo, we not drafting this man. Like, you should not draft him. And he came out and put on, like, we knew Kyrie was good, but we just didn't know, like, yo, is it a good idea to be taking this man's contract?
Honestly, I think he was on ESPN's do not draft list. I'm pretty sure he was on that list. Look, honestly, it's still Kyrie at the end of the day. Like, you know, still a very talented offensive player, one of the greatest dribblers and ball handlers we've ever seen in the game. I don't see where he would ever be a sleeper. It's just he just has a problem with not playing. That's the annoying part. It's like, why aren't you playing? What is going on? Why aren't you telling your teammates, like, what's happening? At least, you know, communicating with them like, hey, I got this or that happening or going on. But it's like, if you're just going to leave people in the dark, then it's like, okay, well. But, like, outside of all of that, I wouldn't say it. I just felt as though, number one, Kyrie was going to drop. And then number two, stay away from him. And I love Kyrie now, and I think my opinion has changed a bit now that we've gotten more into the season. But preseason, like before the season started, oh yeah, stay away from me. That's what my mindset was. But
side note, Damian Lillard is kicking my face in 42 fantasy points in the first quarter.
What'd you say?
Damian Lillard is kicking my face in right now with 42 fantasy points in the first quarter, bro.
Yikes. In the first quarter?
Yeah, bro. He definitely said we ball.
Yeah, look, shoot, man. Yeah. Forget him, we ball.
Nah, not forgetting. Fucking we ball. Play that. Play. Tell him, bro.
He said, the cake's been baked.
New iPad.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Wait. I don't know if I have that one.
It's possible, bro.
Do I have that one in here?
It's possible.
Listen.
No, I don't have that one in here.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
I don't have that sound in here. The cake's been baked. What's done is done. He said, we ball, bro. Look, I agree. Forget him, we ball.
I'm going to need a fantastic performance out of my team just to keep it close, because tomorrow I got to deal with Kai Wee.
Oof. He's not sitting out tomorrow?
I don't know.
We all know him and KD take turns sitting out most of the time.
If he does sit out, I'll be absolutely thrilled because I don't think my lineup has what it takes to win this game tomorrow. I would need a miracle.
I mean, shoot.
Miracles have happened.
Yeah, miracles have happened, but I think that was a really good sleeper list. Obviously, you know, Mike Conley has been playing really well for Tucker as well. You know, D'Lo could be a little disappointing at times as well, if I could throw him in that kind of disappointing list. But I think that was like a really solid list of people. And then here was one of the final questions I had, and we started touching on it earlier. And I have it listed as this: winless teams. What would you do if you're in their situations? So let's provide some context here for the listeners in the audience. We have about 3 teams that are winless, and we're talking like this is our 6th week, and right now they're 0-5 for the moment.
Yeah.
It's highly likely that at least 2 of those 3 teams are going to be 0-6 by come Monday. What is it that you do if you're in their situation?
Me personally.
And honestly, this might help. If you're, since it's only 3, we can go team by team. So in the West, we'll start in the West. If you're Sam Brown, otherwise known as Sam and Friends, shout out to you. If you're Sam, in your opinions, what is it that you would do if you were with his team?
I'll be honest with you, and this is going to sound crazy. Outside of minor moves, I'm not doing anything with this team.
Wow.
You have Jaren Jackson Jr., who's
Hey,
projected.
bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
You've
Nothing.
Listen,
Please tell me you're saying.
Psych!
Please tell me you're saying psych. Please tell me you're saying
Are
psych.
people commenting in the YouTube chat?
Listen. Okay, now hear
They
me
can,
out.
yeah.
Hear me out.
Oh.
You have, I mean, maybe I'm getting rid of Jared Culver and Wesley Matthews, something like that. Maybe I trade a Sixers player. But Jaren Jackson Jr. is scheduled to come back soon. And once he comes back, that can be a great additional piece to have with Joel Embiid up there. Jay Crowder is playing well. Michael Porter Jr. is back from COVID protocol. You're waiting on C.J. McCollum. Ja Morant is scheduled to play, which Sam Brown, if you're listening, Ja Morant is not in your lineup. I would put him in your lineup because he's scheduled to play.
I think it's too late now.
Okay.
Wait,
but-
unless his game. Well, hold on. Let me see if his game is started.
Oh, yeah, it started. It's about to start.
Well, his stuff hasn't locked yet, so if he wants to do that, he better do it
time
now.
to put Ja in the rotation. But
Goof.
I mean, honestly, he's losing anyway this week, so it probably don't matter to him.
But I'm looking at some of these players. I'm seeing a Tim Hardaway Jr., a Rudy Gay, Seth Curry, who's been playing phenomenal, Danny Green, who can be spotty, but when he helps you out, he helps you out. To me, this team doesn't need that much. You need C.J. McCollum back, which is going to take some time. But outside of that, I don't see too many big moves you got to make for this team.
Please, I vehemently disagree, bruh.
I don't see too many.
You about to get all the smoke and take so many punches, the fans yelling, get off the ropes.
Ain't no way you can sit up here and tell me that this man's team is okay. Ain't no way you can do that. Here's why. He had CJ at the start of the season. He had Ja at the start of the season. He had an MVP putting on Embiid at the start of the season. He had these players available to him at the start of the season. Michael Porter was going up. Want to know what he did with all them healthy players? Continued to lose. I don't see how you can sit up here with a straight face and say all he needs is Jaren Jackson to come back.
But my thing is,
Jaren Jackson ain't gonna give you nothing more than 50 fantasy points coming back. Ain't no way his team can be good right now. If I were Sam, you gotta flip. You missed your chance to flip CJ because we all know how CJ worked, bruh.
we do.
And I just don't think. I just don't know how you can. I just don't know. I don't know how you can say that.
I'm just looking at the fact that Jaren Jackson would benefit his team a lot. You haven't had Jaren Jackson. Now, what are the margins that he's lost some of these games by? Because I'm curious to know that as far as like who he's lost to. Because I know I didn't beat him by way too much.
Well, that is a great question. Now, go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna look that up.
I'm looking because I remember playing Sam Brown, and I almost got nervous because I almost lost. We both had COVID protocols to deal with and stuff like that, but also, injuries still play a part. And it's like, how much is he really losing by? Because if Jaren Jackson Jr. can come in 50, 60 fantasy points, he can maybe sever that tide, and we be talking about a different team. I'm just looking at what you got here.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. So he lost to Aaron by close to 250 points. That was the first week.
Okay.
Second week when he played Jake, he lost by about that same margin, about 250 points. Sizwe blew him out the water, like
that's what CJ's down.
About 700 points or something like that. Duran blew him out the water, about 500 or 600 points.
And MPJ's out at that point in time.
And then just under, then you beat him by about 200 and close to 250 points, just under 250 points. And then obviously right now, it's about, as of right now, it's 600 points. So these are some relatively wide margin, for the most, about half wide margins. Half of them are blowouts. About half and half. I mean, 250 points, if all your players are healthy when they played, that's not a lot. But granted, most of those games were with CJ being healthy. He's only been out at least 2 weeks. Or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, I don't think his team was good to begin with. He had too many Sixers players.
I agree with that. The Sixer overhaul is an issue. That would probably be the one thing I would fix.
Because what you're saying, Keshawn, is that he's the best team out of the winless teams. That's what you're saying. Because you're saying he doesn't need nothing. He doesn't need nothing to be done.
I would think that, like, looking at this roster, if fully healthy, I could see this roster. I can see it winning.
This man didn't put Ja in today, bro. We should end the discussion.
That's just him being dumb, bro. He's being dumb. Like, if you're not gonna put Ja in, then you obviously can't win. But when I look at the roster up and down, and I'm looking at how Jay Crowder is fit in with Phoenix, I'm looking at how, frankly, James Johnson's played all right for Dallas, I guess. Tim Hardaway Jr. is playing well. He does have overlap with certain teams, though. Like, you've got a little bit too many players. But when I'm looking at Seth Curry playing well, that's great. Joel Embiid's obviously your big-time star. CJ when healthy is fine. Ja Morant when healthy is fine. I just think the absence of Jaren Jackson Jr. doesn't really tell the story, because who's to say Jackson doesn't go off for more than 60? I mean, we don't know, because right now Brandon Clark is benefiting from Jaren Jackson being gone.
I don't see that being likely where he's getting anything over 60. 69, in my opinion, is where the cutoff is for Jaren Jackson Jr. Because it's like, he's not a high rebound. He's a stretch four. He's probably the best thing as a stretch four. And it's like, are we going to say he's grabbing more rebounds than Valanciunas right now? I'm not saying that at all. It's kind of like a Clint Capella, John Collins kind of situation right now. Other than Valanciunas, can Valanciunas shoot the ball?
He can.
Can he shoot the three ball a little bit? Okay, a little bit. Okay, so yeah, very much like a John Collins and Clint Capella kind of situation where it's like, okay, Clint Capella can play a little bit of the inside, but he can play a lot of the outside really well. Not a great rebounder, but gets the job done when he needs to. Valanciunas can play inside and out relatively well. great rebounder and interior force. I just don't see where there's room for him to get 60 anything more than in the 70s range. I don't see him in the 80s range. But in that 70s range, I really just don't see that being likely. It could happen. It's possible. I just don't see that being very as likely as I would like to believe.
Yeah, like I said, Sam's team, I feel like he's his team. He hasn't beat, which is cool, but yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the next guy. 0-5, Cordell.
You are trash.
Listen to me when I say this. You are trash.
There's not much hope here.
Bruh, his team ain't got no shooting.
Yeah, bro. This is just as Cordell stated, and Cordell plays on our pro-am team. We know Cordell likes dunkers, and I'll let you know this: if you want to miss out on the 3-ball in this league, be my guest, because people love to grab some people who shoot the 3-ball.
Facts. Look, he really missed out on the 3-ball. Like, De'Aaron Fox ain't hoisting no threes. Like Terrence Ross, his best shooter.
Possibly right now.
If I was him, I would be shopping, getting Steven Adams out of there, bro. He's not having the best game. He has some good games. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't think he has Steven Adams. I think that's Daquan.
Oh, I'm looking at Quan. My fault. I would be trying to get rid of De'Aaron Fox. Just because I feel like his values are high right now. And if you're gonna keep Zion, I would just try to add more shooting.
Yeah, because you can't rely on
is it Ben Simmons or De'Aaron Fox? Who does he have to give up out of that?
Oof, that's a good question.
Because it has to be one, I think. I don't know if he can continue or get much value out of anybody else on his team.
It could be both, actually, as far as I'm concerned.
It could be. I'd be more mindful to keep Simmons because he does more, quote unquote, on the court than Fox. But then again, Fox scores a lot more and has a more scorer's mindset than Ben Simmons. So you got to pick what you want. I see Cordell maybe getting a win, maybe 2, but I don't.
They got Marcus Smart or Anthony Davis.
I don't think Cordell makes the playoffs, sadly, and I know it's early to call. But
I'm just gonna keep it real with you.
Yeah, we didn't even get that far with him.
Listen, bro, I'm just putting it to you right now.
Unless you got something to add, Commish.
Look, bro.
He's not making the playoffs.
Team,
look, Cordell can sneak into the playoffs. I ain't gonna cap. Look, it's gonna be a dogfight between Sam Brown, Cordell, and Javon, bruh.
We counting on.
Ew, something stinks.
We counting on Patrick Williams to get a guy to the playoffs.
Patty Will, man.
Yo, Cordell has
Patrice
got 2 Bulls players: Reggie Jackson, Sadiq Bey. He's got 2 Nuggets players in Will Barton and JaMychal Green. JaVale McGee, who is now being bombarded by big men, Larry Nance Jr., Jarrett Allen, Andre Drummond, all in his way. TJ Warren is hurt, so I'll give him that. Denny in Washington, which I completely forgot that dude played.
Denny.
And Juan Hernan Gomez. There's not much you can do with this team. If you got any hope of possibly repairing this team, you might got to flip everything you got.
I mean, look, he got Boogie back.
Hey, and look what Boogie's got. 7 fantasy points.
Yeah, RJ.
7 fantasy points halfway through the second quarter. He coughed up Mason Plumlee for absolutely nothing. No offense.
Cordell was a great trade.
To Boogie Cousins, but Cordell just...
I mean, look at the production, bro. It adds up. Ain't that what y'all say?
That's what Duran's saying. If you following Duran logic, that means somebody got fleeced.
Well, I'm only repeating the stuff y'all be saying, bro. That's all I'm saying, man. I'm just repeating the stuff.
Look, man, there ain't much you can say about this.
Okay, well, I agree. There's not much else left saving old boy Cordell. What about Javon? Now, Javon's not for those of you who are listening. Javon, otherwise known as Mo Bob and Slim DC, it's a long name, much longer name than that. But he's 1-4 right now, so he's for sure in that bottom area range. You know, what do you do with his team? Because I know, like, we've had some private discussions about that and just his overall squad. But in your opinion, what is it that he could do? Because he's in a really bad spot, but he's not where Cordell is right now. You know, Sam Brown's squad, also otherwise known as Sam and Friends, they're dealing with injuries right now. So really, he needs his team to come
Cordell
back
needs to stop
healthy
trolling,
and
by the
full
way.
force.
If you're trying to really win, you need to start
if
making
you're
like
trying to get back,
legitimate trades.
You gotta be serious. To me, Javon repairing his team. Granted, he's been a bad trader this year as far as
Bad is an understatement.
yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But Javon's team is not only fixable, but do I think Javon's gonna be one of the top seeds? No. But if Javon can either hold position or be a position higher, I think it's possible. But it all starts with Russell Westbrook. You've got to flip Russell Westbrook in order to get two good players. You got to get some good players. And the person who's untouchable on your team right now is Rudy Gobert. He can't leave. Gobert is untouchable.
Untouchable?
I think Gobert right now is the untouchable.
You think Gobert's untouchable?
For right now, for him to rebuild this roster, I would start with Gobert as untouchable.
That's interesting.
Because of the fact Gobert's giving you so far solid games the past like 6. I think he's got a couple 100 fantasy point games, and he's gotten like an 80 and a little bit more. But Russ right now is, to me, the most tradable asset. Go ahead and try and get you what you need. Try and solidify a decent looking starting five. Like, put together something that you would say, hey, from point guard to center, I could be comfortable with putting these guys on the court in real life. Because
in real life, though? Because, I mean, that doesn't always translate to what's happening in fantasy, though.
I mean, it doesn't. But, I mean, just like, you don't always want Joe Ingles starting. Wouldn't you rather see
it's like that when jumping Joe Ingles.
Yo, wouldn't you rather see a Tobias Harris starting over a Joe Ingles? That's what I mean. Like, just kind of seeing something, you know, a little bit more. I guess you could use the word inspiring. Like, yeah, this looks like it could win.
This is Javon's team, right? Or is this Cordell still?
This is Javon's team.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
I think.
Hey, this is an interesting trade that I'm thinking about. It's not the best, but it could technically get something through the door for Javon. Let me know what you think about this. Tobias Harris and Joe Harris, the Harris boys, for Russell Westbrook.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
You're gonna need Tobias to not hit that wall that he does during the season where he starts.
The one you mean the Russ already hit?
Joe Harris is a great ad. You're getting some 3-point shooting. I wouldn't be against seeing that. Do I feel it's a little bit low for Russell Westbrook? Yeah, but Russ hasn't done too much this season, and it's sad because you can't sell Russ for his true value because he hasn't put up to what his real value is. He ain't done
nothing. He ain't been on the court long enough to do anything. That's the real problem. It's like, why am I why am I putting in something for somebody who just has played meager? I mean, let's call a spade. Very meager. Very disappointingly meager. Like, it's bad. You can't even
Very much so.
You can't even get on the court, bro.
Nope.
So to me, that's the big thing. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
He can't train with no one with a lot of value.
he's in a bad spot right now. That's all I can really say.
And I just know his next move got to be something
It's got to be powerhouse.
worthwhile.
It's got to be something good that he can cement his house and hill on.
And he's lucky Keshawn didn't drain him of all his assets, because he would really be down bad if he didn't have Hield and Bagley.
Hey, did LeBron not play tonight? Oh yeah, he's playing tonight.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. I was saying, like, yeah, he and he got saved. He would have not had Bagley and Hield to trade either.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So he's got some serious like hammering out details to do, because otherwise, I mean, he's a bad trade away from just calling it wraps, charging his 20 to the game, and just enjoying the entertainment. While he's ordering the finest couch he can find, and figuring out what's the best spot for him to sit at on the team. So, we're at a point right now in our season, just as a commissioner, where I honestly feel much better about things than when I did 3 or 4 weeks ago. Obviously, like, bro, we made like 27 trades in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something crazy like that. Like, we were trading just basically because people felt like it. People were trading for their health, basically. So I just feel really good about things for the moment. I'm interested to see, because and I've floated this around in our group chat that, look, our trade deadline is coming up very soon, like the next month and a half, probably closer to month and a half. So, I'm not saying everybody needs to be rushing to jump and go and get, their teams right and in order, but we're getting to that point where it's like, all right, the teams are starting to kind of chisel out at the moment. So, hope y'all are getting all y'all stuff in order.
It's getting to that time.
If I'm down bad as a bottom team at the moment, I'd be not only concerned, but I'd be not frantic, but I'd be getting aggressive with trying to get my team right. Like, you just gonna have to accept the fact, like, hey, this dude gotta go, because if not, more than likely I'm gonna end up with the same result. You gotta be smart about who you want to keep on your bench, especially free agent wise, because not everybody's holding superstars. You got to think about who's worth keeping, who's not. I would once say one thing about free agents, though. We see a lot of people like just swapping free agents like frequently, and it's like, I look at people doing some dumpster diving in the free agency. It's like, you got to look at your team at the end of the day, because I see some people who might be getting stronger but getting weaker with their free agency grabs.
I mean, context is important, though. And so, I remember this conversation coming up early, like, in the season, because we saw, like, the first week of the season where Tim's squad, a.k.a. Spice plus Ice times 2 Cool Crew, they were trading, like,
he just delivered himself
You what?
Mike has a special delivery early.
He's calling it quits now.
He said Sam Brown got a nice delivery waiting for him.
Hey, honestly, hold on. I gotta play this on the I gotta play this on the roadcaster, man. We got a special delivery here, man. Mike Thompson, aka the Los Angeles Black Mambas, he is actually the champion who first won our NBA Flunkies League in general. And he is awesome guy, awesome dude. He is one of the meme kings right now. Like he is just head and shoulders above it, just all of it in general. Just amazing. I think he's like a back-to-back he is a back-to-back memer of the year if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed.
So, I give props to him because his memes are really like usually on point, very fire. If you would love to see some of them and even see like our awards and stuff that we've done, check them out on our Instagram page at NBA Flunkies. That's all one word. We do some really mainly funny, comical, amazing stuff on there. But I gotta play this one real quick, man.
Yeah.
Hey Mike, this is for you, man. Got a special delivery for old Sam Brown. I wish you guys could see this. Like I said, you'll be able to see all these on Sunday as long as he keeps winning. As long as he keeps winning, man, we're gonna keep seeing these. He said next stop bye week.
Who we got next week?
He must have he must have Javon.
Hey, I just want to bring this up. Sizwe, yo, man. First game back with James Butler, bro. 51 fantasy points at close to the half, bro.
Jeez. I give you book for him.
No. Book don't do enough.
That's not what you said. Hey, that's not what he said a couple days ago.
Yeah, had his injury knocked.
Oh. Hey, this man.
Trade during the podcast.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, we haven't had one, thank goodness. Hey, honestly, this man Tucker's squad is going off right now. Oh my goodness. Giannis had 77. Bro, Giannis had 77 fantasy points at the half.
Hood's team is just holding up something so strong.
AD 50 fantasy points in the first quarter.
Oh my god.
And it's still a close game. He must have heard all that trash and B was talking, so he's
he definitely probably heard that.
He's given some of his strength. Strength. So you know what? This has been super fun. I didn't really have too much else outside of that in terms of our itinerary. So, I do plan on going live again, hopefully tonight. If not, this stuff will be ready for us tomorrow. To go live and do some more NBA 2K actual streaming. I thought we were gonna get to some of this today, but as I often
we might
have
have to go live and talk about some of the games coming down to the wire too. So.
Hey, Sizwe.
I would love that.
You knocking at the door.
Listen, bro, I'm knocking, bro.
Sizwe's knocking very aggressively.
Yeah, 31 points. Oh, hold on.
Hey, Cody Zeller is
Cody Zeller.
for you.
Yeah, listen, he's putting on. I need Daniel Gafford to step up, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Gafford. You might not. Yeah.
But like I said, he said Luka still hasn't played yet. But like I said, the goal is to just stay close.
Bigger performance of the night goes to Devontae Graham with 8 fantasy points in the first half.
Shout out Buddy Hill with 43 fantasy points close to the half.
Marvin Bagley with a 39.
Shout out to him, man. Keeping Javon's team alive somehow, man. Look, like I said, his team is just so close to just being back on the right path. But he's got to get there first.
Mm.
Man, if I could get Marcus Smart and PJ Tucker and Daniel House off my back,
he's got to get there first. Now, I'm assuming they moved Carmelo Anthony back to the bench because clearly he's not in the starting 5, at least on this halftime blurb. Dang. Well, I'm not sure. Were there anything else that you guys really wanted to talk about and discuss? I know we're coming up close to rivalry week. That is in like today's the 30th, so not the 31st. So on Monday it'll be like a full month away from when rivalry week will take place, because it's from like March 1st to the 14th. So I figure we're gonna do some pretty big stuff on that. Obviously, and this is some interesting news as well that I could throw in here for the ending. As you all know, Victor Oladipo had 69 fantasy points at the half. Wow.
Oh my god.
Oof. That's not what I was gonna say. The NBA All-Star has been the All-Star voting process has officially started.
Sir.
It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be a tight race. Number
Next
one,
week we should definitely talk about who
deserves it.
who we think should be participating.
That's so probably after our next podcast is when our All-Star voting stuff is going to actually start back up and start taking place. So I'm really
Y'all
excited.
know what to do, flunkies. Vote for Oubre.
Yeah.
Vote for your favorite Valley boy.
And we're gonna do it how we do it.
Ellington, Jaylen Brown.
Do not vote for Kelly Oubre, who can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Wayne Ellington is not getting in, bro.
I don't know what possession.
All right, we'll see.
Oh,
We shall see.
Talking about we'll see.
Vote Oubre, vote John Wall. Vote all the Valley boys, bro.
Don't vote for them.
Vote Blake.
He says somebody drug test Sizwe's teeth. Oh my God, Cody Zeller with 51 fantasy points at the half.
51? He was just at 39.
Yes.
Hold on, Malik.
I told y'all.
Hold on, Malik. Somebody knocking at that Popeye's door, bruh. Hey, they trying to evict you, bruh.
Boy, you talk about
The good old white man.
You talk about a upset of the year, man. That's for sure up there.
Bring that boy back to 500 where he belongs.
Hey, Sizwe, look, your boys gotta really hold strong, because you gotta get past Bron right now, and you got Luka later. You're gonna need Blake to step up, Oubre to step up, and you're gonna need. Well, you're not gonna get that, so I'm just not even gonna talk about him. But yeah, you're just gonna need Blake and Oubre to step up, because the other guy just don't matter.
Who? Oh, Wayne. Oh, Keshawn, don't you do that.
He don't matter.
Keshawn treat Wayne Ellington so foul, bro. He don't learn.
There's nothing to learn from Wayne Ellington, bro.
Okay. Noted.
Listen, Sizwe, Wayne Ellington better take you to the chip.
We'll be there.
We hear you.
It's gonna be a tight race to get there. Because obviously, if we're gonna, and this is another thing, if we're gonna stick with that, with our possible, new playoff format where we're doing East versus West, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. You know what's gonna dictate if I decide to do it that way or not?
What?
If depending on these records, because if the records on the East are just innumerably better than what the West has, and it stays like that, there's no way I'm doing East versus West, because I already know who's coming out the East is going to win it all.
What you talking about?
If it's East versus West.
If it's East versus West and the records are so much better than what the West are, then I've got to. I may actually keep the playoffs.
Are you talking about All-Star?
No, playoffs.
Oh.
So, like I said, I don't have to make a decision until once our regular season ends, but it's for sure gonna be a interesting process behind that. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna fully move over to the new system or not, but it is something that I am looking at the moment, and am interested.
I'm interested to see what the Flunkies want to do.
Yeah, if people would just respond to my messages, that would also be good too. Um, that
You
would
know that it's
actually,
gonna be the play of day. One of the players will be like, "Why we do it this way?"
yeah, and we're gonna be a whole week into the playoffs talking about, hey, we can do it this way. I'm gonna be like, where were you at? I'm just, what, never mind. You should have been there, but
Hey, if you have any Pelican players, I'd be concerned right now because they're down 18 at the half, 75-57.
They playing.
The Houston Rockets.
punch them in the mouth.
Hopefully they keep John Wall in.
He said, "John Wall."
The people's champ.
No, not the people's champ. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, let me go ahead and drop that. But yeah, this was a good pod.
This was a great podcast, and I think with that being said, we're gonna sign off. Um, we'll go back live again. If I can get all of this up and running tonight, it is getting a little later, so I actually may just go ahead and hold this off and give you guys the night. But until then, really like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell for us. Share this with friends and family if you really love, what it is that we're doing. I really enjoy doing this type of stuff and really want to get more timely weekly conversations and content out to you guys. But with that being said, thanks for being a part of the Flunky family for some time. I got Keshawn here, the Brandywine Hospital Morgue. Sizwe here, the Valley Boys. I am
Valley
Ronjae Jones,
Boys.
the commissioner, your host, and whatnot. And with that being said, we're gonna bounce out. So peace out, you guys.
Later.
Adios.